isn't just a pause in your story. It's the part where the ink dries, the pages are mended, and the fragile scroll of who you are is read line by line. Then, quietly, gently, repaired. Tonight, as you fall asleep, let's drift into the smallest corners of you. To the scripts written in twisted ladders of code, to the guardians of life who never sleep, to the invisible workshop where you are rebuilt each night without ever noticing. Let's begin with stillness. Sleep, the word alone, feels like velvet, a gentle surrender, a retreat from movement, noise, and responsibility. But stillness is only on the outside. Inside, trillions of cells prepare for something extraordinary. As your eyelids grow heavy, your brain flickers with activity. As your muscles release tension, enzymes awaken. And in every nucleus of every cell, something ancient, sacred, and invisible begins, the mending of you. We often think of sleep as unconsciousness, a void. But biologically, it's one of the most active times in your body's life. Think of it like a city. When daylight fades and workers leave the streets, the real maintenance begins. Streetlights flicker on, power lines hum, cleaners sweep, crews descend into tunnels and vents, checking wiring, patching cracks. Your body does the same. And nowhere is this more urgent, more precious than in your DNA. Your DNA, the script of you, is stunningly beautiful, but it is not indestructible. Every day, over 10,000 molecular lesions strike each of your cells. Let that sink in. From sunlight, radiation, pollution, stress, even from simply breathing oxygen, your DNA is under constant assault. Yet you don't fall apart. You don't forget your name. Your hands still remember how to hold. Your heart still knows when to beat. Why? Because every night, under the veil of sleep, your body begins an astonishing ritual, DNA repair. Like librarians scanning every page in the library of you, specialized proteins search for misprints, smudges, and breaks. They cut, splice, rewrite, and seal, all without your awareness. This is not just biology, it's a kind of faith. Your body believes it's worth fixing, night after night after night. But here's a strange question. Why do most of these repairs happen at night? Why not during the day, when you're awake and your body is more alert? The answer is elegant. Because repair requires peace. During the day, your cells are busy. They divide. They process energy. They respond to movement, emotion, digestion, heat, fixing DNA. While all that going on would be like trying to renovate a building during rush hour. Dust everywhere. Screws lost in the traffic. So your body waits. It waits for your eyes to close, for your temperature to drop, for your muscles. Then, in the quiet, the lights go on inside. This is sleep's secret mission, to give your cells the silence they need to remember who you are and to fix what the day tried to undo. Let's zoom in now. Pick any one of your 37 trillion cells. Go deeper into its nucleus. There, coiled like a prayer, lies your DNA. But tonight, there's a break in the strand, a tiny fracture from sunlight, or stress, or chance. And into that silence steps a protein. Let's call it XRC1, one of many molecular caretakers. It hovers over the broken strand, scans the damage, and calls in the crew. DNA polymerases rush in. They don't just copy DNA, they rebuild it. Ligases arrive, sealing the repair like invisible welders. Each movement is precise. Each molecule knows where to go, what to do, and when to leave. No applause, no audience, just quiet perfection, and the cell moves on. You may not remember this in the morning, but your body will. Sleep isn't just one big nap. It comes in waves, each with a unique role. Stage 1 and 2, your body relaxes. Temperature drops, heartbeat slows, hormones like melatonin rise, signaling begin the cleanup. Stage 3, this is the powerhouse. DNA repair peaks, growth hormone floods the bloodstream. Immune cells sharpen their swords. You don't dream here, you rebuild. REM sleep, the mind's playground. Memories form, emotions are processed. DNA repair continues, especially in neurons, who never stop remembering. Your body dances through these stages 4 to 6 times a night, like shifts in a hospital. Each team knows when to clock in, what to heal, and when to step back. You wake up thinking nothing happened, but in truth, hundreds of broken DNA strands were sealed. Misplaced molecules were corrected. Dangerous mutations were erased before they could grow. Entire identities were preserved. You, the one who laughs, remembers, creates, breathes, are being constantly rescued by sleep. Not just rested, not just refreshed, rescued. And your body does this without complaint every single night. There's something sacred about this. The fact that even as you feel lost, tired, or broken, your body never stops trying to restore you. The science is precise. The philosophy is gentle. You are worth fixing. You are not disposable, not even at the level of molecules. And sleep is the most beautiful metaphor for healing we have. A nightly reminder that silence is not absence, it's repair. But what happens if you skip sleep? The repairs slow, the errors stack up, DNA damage increases, cells grow weary, the blueprint begins to blur. Over time, aging accelerates. Risk of cancer rises, memory slips, mood shifts. Sleep is not a luxury, it's a repair ritual. Interrupt it, and the damage becomes permanent. Imagine, for a moment, that you could watch your body from the inside tonight. You'd see sparkles of light, enzymes moving through darkness, fixing, checking, whispering instructions. You'd see coordination more elegant than any symphony. You'd realize your body doesn't just sleep, it performs a miracle, night after night. While you dream, you are being preserved. Before you woke this morning, your body had already been under attack, not by bullets, not by thoughts or feelings, but by something far smaller, by photons from sunlight that split molecular bonds, by oxygen molecules, essential yet erratic, by food turned into energy and sparks, by stress hormones, by tiny bits of chaos dancing through your bloodstream. And right now, as you rest, that battle continues. But so does something else, something quieter, far older, and infinitely more beautiful. The guardians of your DNA are awake. They never sleep. They have no faces, no names. Yet they are the reason you can read this, breathe this, be this. Tonight, as you drift into softness, we'll meet these silent sentinels and learn what it means to be both breakable and repairable. In the universe, nothing is truly still. Not galaxies, not mountains, not even you. Inside each of your cells, and there are trillions, DNA is coiled like a microscopic thread of memory. But this thread is not safe. Not ever. Every day, each cell in your body suffers roughly 10,000 to 100,000 DNA lesions. These aren't metaphors. These are real, physical breaks, twists, and errors. Some are tiny, A base pair flipped the wrong way. A small nick in the strand. A crosslink between two rungs in the ladder. Others are catastrophic. Double-stranded breaks where the helix shatters in two. Whole regions missing or mangled. And yet you're still here, because for every break, a guardian wakes up. Long before humans dreamed of healing, cells had already invented it. Even single-celled organisms, floating in the primordial soup of Earth's first oceans, faced radiation, toxins, and chaos. So nature invented repair systems, not just one, not just a backup, but many, overlapping, complex, beautifully redundant. You may know them by unfamiliar names: nucleotide excision, repair base, excision repair, homologous recombination, non-homologous end joining. These aren't just fancy terms, they're ancient instincts, molecular reflexes, older than bones. They are how life defies entropy, how order resists collapse. And tonight, inside you, they are alive. DNA isn't fragile by accident. It's fragile because it's active. The very act of being alive puts stress on the code that defines you. Let's look at the invaders, the sources of daily damage. UV light sunlight feels warm, but its ultraviolet rays punch through skin, causing thymine dimers, fusions between DNA letters that shouldn't connect. Like a printer smudging two lines of a poem into one illegible phrase. Reactive oxygen species, when your cells make energy, they also make sparks, molecules with unpaired electrons that dart around, crashing into DNA. ROS are like toddlers with crayons in a library, chaotic, unpredictable, destructive, radiation from the sun, from space, from the Earth itself. High-energy particles can split DNA strands in two, what scientists call double-strand breaks. To your body, these are 5-alarm fires. Chemicals, smoke, pollution, pesticides, even certain medications. Some wedge themselves between base pairs. Others mimic letters and trick DNA into writing the wrong word. Internal stress, your own metabolism, just staying alive, creates byproducts that harm DNA. Even emotions, like chronic anxiety or sleep deprivation, can alter cellular stability. So the question isn't, will DNA be damaged? It's, can it be repaired in time? They do not wear armor. They carry no shields, and yet they defend you every second of every day. Let's meet a few of the unsung heroes working silently in the night. Part 1. The first responder. When DNA breaks, Part 1 is often the first on scene. It binds to the damage site within seconds. It doesn't fix the problem itself. It raises the alarm, signaling other proteins to arrive. Think of it as the molecular 911 operator. DNA polymerases, the rebuilders. When a section of DNA is damaged, it must be removed and replaced. DNA polymerases are the scribes. They copy the correct template, letter by letter, ensuring the repaired strand matches the original. They are astonishingly accurate, though they do make the occasional typo. Ligases, the seamstresses. Once repair is done, a final touch is needed. The break must be sealed. DNA ligase stitches the strand back together. Invisible thread, permanent knot. No trace of the injury remains. MSH2, MISH6, the editors. Sometimes the damage is subtle, a mismatch, a flipped base. These proteins read the sequence, like editors scanning a novel, catching typos before they become meaning. They don't guess, they know the story, and they're rewriting it, even now. Here's the truth: the Guardians are mighty, but they are not omnipotent. Not every wound is repaired. Sometimes the damage is too deep. Sometimes the cell is old, tired, or overwhelmed. When that happens, the cell has choices. Try to fix it anyway and risk a mutation. Enter senescence, a kind of retirement. Trigger apoptosis, programmed death, a graceful exit. Yes, some cells choose to die rather than let flawed DNA spread. This is not defeat, it is wisdom. Sacrifice for the greater self. A poetry written in proteins. So when does all this work happen? Not only during the day. In fact, the most profound DNA repair happens at night. During deep sleep, your body slows down. Metabolic chaos decreases, inflammation increases. Release of growth hormone activates genes related to repair, gives cells uninterrupted time to search and mend. Like librarians cleaning up the archive after the museum closes, your cells finally have the space to heal. Sleep isn't the reward for repair. It enables it. Without sleep, errors accumulate. With sleep, order is restored. Here's the paradox. You might think DNA repair aims for perfection, but nature rarely demands flawlessness. Sometimes, small mutations slip through. A letter miscopied, a word misunderstood, and sometimes that mistake becomes evolution. Without error, there is no change. Without change, there is no growth. So DNA repair walks a delicate line. Correct what must be fixed. Allow what might help the future. Your body isn't a machine. It's a living poem, constantly rewritten, night after night. Every creature on Earth, from glowing jellyfish to sleeping wolves to humans staring at ceilings, relies on these microscopic guardians. It's a shared vulnerability and a shared strength. You, drifting to sleep tonight, are part of that legacy. Part of a species that repairs itself to survive, that refuses to give in to entropy, that chooses again and again to rebuild, even in silence, even in the dark. So as your breathing slows and the room fades into hush, know that inside, a war continues. It is not violent, it is careful, not loud, but tireless. A war of preservation, of memory, of identity. Your DNA is not a fortress, it's a scroll. And every night, the guardians step out of the shadows to keep reading and to keep rewriting. Before the first tool touches DNA, before the first guardian arrives, something else happens. A signal, a silent rhythm, an ancient pulse, like breath beneath breath. Your body is not only a place of healing, it is a clock. And when night falls, it's not just your eyes that close. Your genes know it's time to begin their quiet work. In this section, we'll explore the invisible timekeepers inside you, the molecular gears that tell your cells when to rest, when to repair, and when to begin again. This isn't just sleep science. It's a story about timing, identity, and the delicate choreography of life. We think of time as something we invented, seconds, hours, calendars. But your body has always known time, long before clocks, before language, before names. Every living thing on Earth, from a blade of grass to a human heart, obeys something deeper, circadian rhythms, from the Latin circa, around, and diem day. These rhythms are 24-hour cycles, hardwired into our biology, not because we decided it, but because Earth spins. Day and night, light and dark, warmth and cool, and across millions of years, life adapted not just to survive the cycle, but to anticipate it. In the center of your brain, right behind the bridge of your nose, lies a tiny structure no bigger than a grain of rice, the nucleus, or SCN. This is your master clock. It sits in the hypothalamus, watching the light, monitoring signals from your eyes, sensing the rise and fall of the sun. And it does something miraculous. It tells the rest of your body what time it is. Your liver, your heart, your skin, even your DNA repair systems, they all take cues from this one whispering clock. The SCN is not just a sensor, it's a conductor. Each evening, as the light dims, it lowers the curtain, melatonin rises, temperature drops, blood pressure falls, and somewhere deep in the body, cells begin checking their DNA. The workshop opens. You might think only the brain knows time, but the truth is stranger and more elegant. Every cell in your body has its own internal clock inside. The nucleus, clock genes rise and fall in 24-hour patterns per cry, BMAL1 clock. Their names are peculiar, but their job is profound. These genes control when enzymes are produced, when repair systems activate, when damaged cells are cleaned out, when growth hormone is released, when metabolism speeds up or slows down. It's like a symphony, each instrument playing on cue, each gene entering on time. And while the master clock keeps the beat, each cell adds its own voice, harmony, precision, healing, on schedule. When is DNA most often repaired? For most people, the deepest sleep and the most intense repair occurs between midnight and 4 a.m. during this window. Growth hormone surges, stress drops repair enzymes, peak inactivity, inflammatory signals fall silent, the brain clears out metabolic waste via the glymphatic system. This window isn't arbitrary. It's written into our biology, refined through evolution. It's why shift workers, frequent flyers, and night owls often face higher rates of cancer, cognitive decline, mood disorders, immune dysfunction when circadian rhythms are broken. So is the timing of healing. DNA repair doesn't just depend on tools. It depends on knowing when to use them. But something's changed. For most of human history, when the sun went down, the body knew repair time had begun now. We flood our eyes with blue light from screens, bulbs, and devices. We override the night with our own brightness, and the body gets confused. Melatonin is delayed. Sleep onset is pushed later. The repair window shortens. The circadian clock shifts out of sync. Imagine calling the DNA repair team only to realize they're asleep. This is why sleep isn't just about duration. It's about timing. A midnight sleep is not the same as a 3 a.m. one. The clock remembers, and it's still ticking. Cross time zones, and you feel it. Jet lag, fatigue, brain fog. But beneath that surface, your genes are struggling to DNA repair. Systems don't just flip on and off. They're synchronized with everything else. Hormones, neurotransmitter, cell division myth. The clock is out of sync. Repair can misfire too early, too late, or not at all. The result: increased cellular stress, accumulated mutations, a body that heals less and ages more. So next time you feel off after a red-eye flight, remember, even your DNA feels jet lag. It may sound rigid, as though the body runs like a factory, on a schedule, but that's not quite right. Your body's clock is more like music than machinery. It doesn't just measure time, it expresses it. There are crescendos. At night, DNA repair, growth, memory formation, and rests. In early morning, cellular cleanup, quiet immunity. Every phase supports the next. Every pause allows repair. This is why routine matters. Regular sleep, consistent light exposure, healthy feeding windows. They don't just feel good. They optimize repair. They protect your DNA. You are healing by the hour, but only if the rhythm is allowed to play. Not everyone's clock keeps perfect time. Some are born with rare clock gene mutations, and their sleep, mood, and cellular health spiral. Others experience trauma, night shifts, chronic stress, or social jet lag, and the master clock starts ticking out of tune, and with it, DNA damage increases, neurons misfire, the risk of disease climbs. The tragedy isn't that the body can't repair itself. The tragedy is that it's not given the chance. The good news: the body wants to be in rhythm. It tries over and over to reset. You can help it. Dim lights in the evening, avoid screens 1 to 2 hours before bed. Go to sleep and wake up at the same time each day. Eat meals during daylight hours. Get morning sunlight exposure. Even 10 minutes can help. These small actions don't just improve your mood. They realign the gears inside you. They tell your DNA, we're back on time. And once again, the repair crews can arrive right on cue. In the end, your circadian rhythm is more than a cycle. It's a promise that life isn't random, that even in the darkest hours there is order, that healing isn't just possible, it's scheduled, and that deep inside you, beneath the skin, beneath the thought, a clock is ticking in your favor. You don't hear it, but you feel it. Each time you fall asleep on time, you're giving your body more than rest. You're giving it rhythm. You're giving it repair. You're giving it life. The world is asleep. The room is still. The body lies in soft surrender, but inside, something sharp is moving. Not violently, not with pain, but with focus, with grace. Tiny blades, molecular hands, a surgery without scars. A team that never rests and never asks for thanks. They are the silent surgeons, and as midnight passes, they bend over your double helix like monks over ancient parchment, cutting, mending, smoothing the creases. In your script, in this chapter, we step into the quietest operating theater in existence, not in a hospital, but in you, in every cell. Every night, repair is a sacred act, but repairing DNA, that's a miracle that happens without light, without tools, without anesthesia, and without noise. It is surgical in the truest sense. Imagine a 3 billion letter manuscript. Now imagine it, curled inside a microscopic nucleus, tangled like a sleeping forest. Somewhere deep within, a letter is wrong. A piece is broken. How do you find it? How do you fix it? Your body does it millions of times each night, and it does it with enzymes, each one trained, ancient, patient. These are not random molecules. They are craftsmen, surgeons, archivists of identity. Before we meet the stars of the night shift, let's understand the word enzyme. Enzymes are proteins with purpose. They don't just float, they do. Each is shaped for one task, like a key for a single lock. Some break bonds, some stitch strands, some scan, others edit. In DNA repair, enzymes act like a well-trained surgical team. The scout finds the lesion. The scalpel removes the damaged part. The scribe copies the missing code. The stitcher seals the wound. They work in silence, in darkness, at body temperature, inside a space smaller than the tip of a needle. And they do it with near perfection. Let's meet them. The first step is always recognition. DNA damage isn't always obvious. There's no red flag, no pain, no sound. So the body sends out sensor enzymes, scouts who patrol the genome. PARP1, the detective poly-ADP-ribose polymerase 1, or PARP1, is a first responder. When DNA suffers a single strand break, PARP1 rushes. Within seconds, it wraps around the damaged site. It doesn't fix it, but marks it. It sends out chemical beacons. Help needed here. The silent alarm has been triggered. Others follow. Once damage is found, it must be cut away. This isn't just trimming, it's delicate, like removing one line from a symphony without ruining the score. XPA, XPC, and TFIIH, the excision crew asterisk in nucleotide excision repair. Enzymes like XPA and XPC identify bulky lesions, like UV-induced thymine dimers. Then TFIIH, a complex with unwinding helicases, pulls apart the DNA strands like pages in a book. A special enzyme, endonuclease, makes precise cuts around the damaged section. The corrupted line is removed. A gap remains. The helix waits. The body doesn't guess. It uses the undamaged strand as a template, a mirror, a memory of what was, DNA polymerase beta or delta. The scribes, these polymerases, read the undamaged strand and rebuild the missing section. Each base, A, T, C, G, is matched perfectly, like restoring a word in a poem where a raindrop blurred the ink. Mistakes can happen, but rarely, and if they do, proofreading enzymes correct them in real time. The helix is whole again. Almost. The repair is almost done, but without sealing. The cut, the DNA, is fragile. DNA ligase, the seamstress DNA ligase, arrives last. Its job to restore continuity, like closing a zipper or sewing an invisible seam into a tapestry. Once ligase is done, the strand is unbroken. The cell resumes its function. The repair leaves no scar, only wholeness. Not all wounds are simple. Sometimes both strands of DNA break, like a snapped rope. These are the most dangerous and the most difficult to fix. Two major pathways step in: non-homologous end joining, NHE, J-fast, but risky. The ends are stitched back together without a template. Sometimes mistakes are made, small deletions or rearrangements, but in emergencies, speed matters more than elegance. Homologous recombination, HR, safer, more accurate, but slower. The cell uses a sister chromatid as a reference. This ensures perfect restoration. HR is the gold standard, but it only works when a sister strand is available. Risk or safety, and they do, silently, wisely, every night. DNA repair is not one surgeon, but many. Not one tool, but an orchestra. They work in concert, communicating through chemical signals, each aware of timing, structure, priority. They know when to pause, when to escalate, when to shut down a cell entirely. This is not automation. It's choreography, and it's happening in you right now, even as you sleep. Why do these repairs peak at night? Because sleep offers what no waking hour can: stillness, reduced oxidative stress, increased melatonin, an antioxidant and DNA protector surge in growth hormone triggers, repair enzymes, slowed metabolism, fewer distractions for the cell. Sleep is not just rest, it is surgical permission. The surgeons sharpen their tools when the lights go out, and as you sink deeper, they move in. No system is perfect. Sometimes the enzymes miss a break. Sometimes they stitch incorrectly. Sometimes the damage is too great. If errors pile up, the cell must decide. Fix again, pause, and wait. Die gracefully, apoptosis. Go rogue, mutation, cancer. The stakes are high, and yet, for most of your life, our memories, our choices. But what if identity also lives in repair? Each night, your body chooses to keep you whole. It reads the broken parts. It forgives the errors. It restores the text. You, as you remember yourself, are not just preserved by sleep. You are recreated by it, by silent surgeons, with no hands, but infinite care. No applause greets these molecules. No reward is given, but thanks to them, your heart beats in rhythm. Your memories remain intact. Your skin stays whole. Your cells don't forget who they are. You don't feel them, but they feel you, written in every twisted loop of your double helix. You think you know yourself, your name, your memories, the way your laugh sounds, the thoughts that loop quietly as you drift toward sleep. But deep inside you, far below consciousness, another version of you is being written, word by word, nucleotide by nucleotide. This version doesn't live in your diary. It lives in your cells, a chronicle not of feelings, but of biology, of breaks and repairs, of errors, forgiveness, and change. This is the cell's secret diary, and it may be more you than you've ever imagined. Your cells are not just alive, they remember. Each cell carries a complete copy of your DNA, a 3 billion letter script that tells the cell who to be, what to build, how to heal, and when to die. But that script is not static. It is edited nightly. Each time your DNA is damaged and repaired, a footnote is left, a trace, sometimes a permanent mark, and sometimes a mutation, a change to the story. This is not a flaw. It's how memory is built, not just in the brain, but in the body itself. Your cells don't just survive, they evolve and sleep. That's when they write. Let's imagine your DNA as a diary. Every cell has one, splashed with metaphorical ink. Sleep is when the editor shows up. The enzymes we met earlier, PARP1, ligases, polymerases, they're not just fixing typos, they're making decisions. Is this memory worth preserving? Is this error too dangerous to keep? Should this cell retire, replicate, or be rewritten? These aren't just mechanical choices. They shape who you are. They determine how your skin repairs, how your thoughts remain clear, how your immune system remembers enemies, and how you change over time. This editing shapes your future, quietly, faithfully. The study of how genes are expressed, not just which genes exist. Imagine sticky notes in the margins of your genome. Use this gene more often. Silence this one for now. Open this page during stress. These notes are placed and removed based on experience, diet, light, trauma, love, fear, and yes, sleep. At night, Enzymes like histone acetyltransferase and methyltransferases add or remove molecular flags. These don't change the letters of DNA, they change which chapters get red dot. And so, over time, your life rewrites you, not in your thoughts, but in your very code. Sleep doesn't erase the day. It summarizes it and files it in the margins of your DNA. While the cells repair, the body, the brain begins its own edit. Sleep is not unconsciousness. Emotional lessons rewrites the narrative of your waking life. But what's remarkable is this: your DNA is involved here, too. Recent research suggests that certain genes, including those tied to learning and emotional processing, are expressed only during sleep. They guide which memories are kept, which ones are faded, and which ones are transformed. Your dreams may feel surreal, but they're part of the nightly writing, a whisper between brain and genome. Here's who will be tomorrow. As the years pass, the diary grows thicker, and not every page stays clean. DNA damage adds up, repair slows, epigenetic markers become muddled. This is one theory of aging, that time itself is not the enemy, but miswritten memory is. Your skin cells remember every sunburn. Your immune cells remember every infection. Your neurons remember stress. And if sleep is disrupted, that memory is never sorted, never cleaned, never healed. Sleep is not youth, but it is how youth lasts. It is the ritual of nightly maintenance that delays the blur of time. Here's something beautiful and strange. Some edits made in your cells can be passed on, not the sequence itself, but the epigenetic flags, the instructions in the margins. If a mouse is exposed to a smell followed by a shock, it develops a fear. But its children, born later, also fear that smell, even though they were never shocked. Through epigenetic inheritance. That means some of what your body edits tonight, some of what it chooses to highlight or silence, might echo forward, not just in you, but in them, the ones not yet here. You are not just repairing your story, you're editing a future one. We often say, I want to change myself. But the truth is, you already are. Each night, your DNA is rewritten. Each cell makes choices, not with ink or intention, but with enzymes and silence. You are the editor, the page, the poem, and you change, not only because of what happens in the world, but because of what happens after it. When the lights go out and the repair begins, what happens when sleep is broken? The edits stop, the pages stay smudged, the errors grow louder. This is why chronic sleep loss is linked to a cognitive decline, immune dysfunction, increased cancer risk, depression, and anxiety, accelerated aging. The diary becomes disorganized, and with it, so do we. But the most haunting part, when sleep stops, the story halts to not your day-to-day life, but the inner narrative, the version of you being written in the dark. Is why restoring sleep is not luxury. It is rescuing the narrative. Here's the wonder. Despite the chaos of life, your body forgives, even after days of broken rest. Once sleep returns, so does the pen, the repair enzymes, the cleanup, the clarity. Your genome is not bitter. It does, rewriting you back into alignment. Each night is a second chance. Each night is grace. The body remembers damage, but it also remembers how to heal. So, as your eyes grow heavy, as the outside world fades to quiet, know this: you are not simply lying down. You are offering your body the pen. You are letting it clean the pages, tidy the margins, not erased, but restored. DNA is not destiny, it is diary. And each night you get to choose what stays. Sleep well. The story continues while you sleep. Every night there is a watchtower, and stationed atop it are guardians cloaked in silence. This is the realm of the immune system, and when your eyes close, theirs open wider. Tonight you'll meet the unseen soldiers of your bloodstream, the ones who heal, defend, and even kill on your behalf. They don't dream, but they protect your ability to dream. Let us drift into the bloodstream, into the immune night shift. Your body is not just a body, it is a fortress and a memory. Every breath brings in particles, microbes, toxins. Every wound is a possible invasion. But standing between you and collapse is a vast defense network, the immune system. It's not one thing, it's many, 1,000,000 soldiers, 1,000,000,000,000 messengers, and all of them. Blood cells patrol the inner kingdom cytokines, pass urgent whispers from cell to cell. Lymph nodes act as war rooms, bones, marrow births new soldiers nightly, and within this army, ruthless and fast macrophages, janitors and generals, eating debris, commanding troop stealths, strategists and assassins, precise selective cells, librarians of disease, crafting custom antibodies. But their effectiveness, it depends on sleep. As you drift into deep sleep, something remarkable happens. Your immune system activates. It's counterintuitive. We think of healing as rest, but during non-REM deep sleep, your body floods with cytokines, signaling proteins that trigger inflammation, call white blood cells into action, promote tissue repair, mark infected or cancerous cells for destruction. It's like a whistle blows, and the night patrol awakens. Without sleep, cytokine levels are disrupted, confused, uncoordinated. The army is present but directionless, and the enemy is always watching. Have you ever noticed how when you're sick, you sleep more? That's not laziness, it's survival. Sleep supports the release of interleukin-1 and tumor necrosis factor alpha. Pathogens hate heat. Meanwhile, you slip into deep, dreamless sleep. Crew, some cells are gentle healers, repairers. Others are not. Meet the natural killer, NK cells. One of the immune system's stealthiest tools. They roam without instruction, searching for cells that have gone rogue, virally infected cells, expressing abnormal proteins per cancerous cells, quietly mutating if something looks off. The NK cell does not hesitate. It wraps its arms around the suspect and injects a death signal. The target implodes. Quiet, clean, no inflammation, just removal. These assassins are most active at night, but only when you sleep. Sleep deprivation reduces their number and sharpness, which is why chronic insomnia is linked to higher cancer risk. Even your killers need rest to remain deadly as battles end. Another team begins their work. The macrophages, from the Greek macros, large, and phagen, to eat. These are your internal custodians. They devour dead cells, swallow up bacterial fragments, clear out viral remains, clean tissue damaged by inflammation. But they also talk. Macrophages send messages to the brain, the liver, the bloodstream. They say, this area is healed. This wound needs resources. This cell must die. They are why wounds close overnight, why bruises fade, why you wake up cleaner. Without sleep, macrophages lose their rhythm. They overreact or go quiet. The battlefield stays bloody and healing halts. Did you know that over 70% of your immune cells live in your gut? It is your largest interface with the outside world, and it never sleeps while you dream. Immune cells to tolerate or attack foreign proteins, even your microbiome, the billions of bacteria inside you follow. Circadian rhythms, they shift species dominance between day and night. They help digest, they shape mood, they influence immunity. Sleep disruption throws this world into chaos. Leaky gut chronic. Up too late. The gut is not separate from the brain. It's the other brain, and it too needs nightfall. What about immunity for tomorrow? Sleep isn't just about fighting today's invaders. It's about learning. During the night, your immune system consolidates memory, not of facts, but of pathogens. B cells refine the shape of their antibodies. T cells build stronger receptor libraries. The immune system rehearses what it saw today, how it won, what it should recognize. Again, vaccines, in particular, rely on sleep to work. After a flu shot, well-rested people develop double the antibodies compared to those who are sleep-deprived. Sleep is the classroom. Your immune system is the student, and missing class can be dangerous, like everything else in your body. The immune system obeys circadian timing. Neutrophils rise in the morning cell. Migration peaks. Overnight inflammation cools as midnight deepens. Repair peaks around 2 to 4 a.m. Your immune system is not always awake. It's scheduled, precise, trained by time. Break the rhythm through jet lag, stress, or insomnia, and the timing misfires. Attacks happen too late. Repairs start too early. Inflammation becomes chronic. Hits, not the immune system, that fails. It's the clock it listens to, and that clock ticks loudest when you sleep. Here is something comforting. Your immune system knows who you are. Every cell has markers, ID badges, that say, I belong. And your immune cells, especially during sleep, review that list. They scan, they check, they ask, is this me? If the answer is no, attack begins. But sometimes, under chronic stress or disrupted sleep, those lines blur. Autoimmune disease whispers, this might be a stranger, and attacks the self. This is why sleep isn't indulgent. It's clarity. Cytokine levels fall, tissues rest, the fever lowers, the swelling fades, the assassins vanish. Your body does not announce this. There is no trumpet, no banner, just balance, peace, and the quiet promise. We watched over you, even in your most vulnerable moments, when asleep, unaware, undefended. Your body does not abandon you. It watches, it heals, it kills when necessary. The immune system is not just your defense. It is your devotion to yourself. It doesn't just protect you. It remembers you. And each night, it fights to keep you whole. You are starlight in slow motion. You don't glow, but your cells do. Every second of your life, they burn with the quiet fire of 1,000 tiny suns. They're not in the sky. They're in you. And every night, while you sleep, they are refueled, repaired, and reborn. Tonight, we descend past skin and blood, past the helix of DNA and the marching cells of immunity, down into the power plants of the body, the mitochondria. This is not just about energy. It is about being. For without them, life, as we know it, would flicker and vanish. Let's enter the chamber of bioelectricity. Blood cells, who gave theirs up to flow freely. But you didn't get your mitochondria from both parents. You inherited them only from your mother. Like a whispered secret passed down through generations, your mitochondria carry their own DNA, tiny loops. Beings, bacteria that forged an alliance with our ancestors. They gave us energy, and in return, we gave them a home. This ancient pact still burns inside you, and every night. City Hall, the ribosomes, are factories. The membrane is the gate. They are the power plants. Each mitochondrion takes in oxygen and nutrients. It powers muscle contraction, neural communication, immune response DNA. Itself, no ATP, free radicals, molecules that, left unchecked, damage the very cell they power. This is the paradox. Your fuel is also your fire, which is why sleep matters. When the sun sets and your eyes begin to flutter, mitochondria change, not just in speed, but in behavior. During the day, they are warriors, burning fast, fueling action, multitasking energy. At night, they become gardeners. They prune, recycle. Like melatonin, sweep the cellular floor. Sleep is not just rest. It is maintenance time for your cellular engines. Imagine mechanics quietly tuning the motors of every organ while you dream of nothing at all. We know melatonin as the sleep hormone, but it's also a mitochondrial protector as you fall asleep. Melatonin rises not only in your brain, but in your cells. It travels to the mitochondria, neutralizing oxidative stress, shielding the delicate membrane from rupture. It is more than a sedative. Melatonin is the guardian of your power plants. Without it, the fire burns wild. With it, the fire heals. This is why artificial light at night is dangerous. Blue light blocks melatonin. It's for the suns inside you. Nowhere is energy demand higher than in the brain. Your brain is 2% of your body weight, but consumes 20% of your oxygen. It runs on ATP and burns through it constantly. Thinking is energy intensive, dreaming even more so. During sleep, the brain's mitochondria slow energy output, divert power to clean up, help the lymphatic system remove waste, recharge for the next day of learning, memory, and emotion. If the mitochondria fail, neurons falter, synapses weaken, and mitochondria are the pumps. When sleep falters, so do your mitochondria. Studies show that sleep deprivation leads to mitochondrial fragmentation, increased oxidative stress, decreased ATP production, accelerated aging of cells. This is not a slow decay. Even one night of lost sleep can lower mitochondrial function across multiple organs. The lights dim, the engines sputter. You don't just feel tired, you are energetically broken, and it takes multiple nights of deep sleep to bring the suns back to full brightness. Every major chronic disease has a mitochondrial story. Diabetes, mitochondria. In muscle and fat, lose insulin sensitivity. Alzheimer's, neurons lose their mitochondrial efficiency. Cancer, damaged mitochondria fail to regulate cell death. Heart disease, mitochondria in cardiac muscle fail under stress. But here's the truth. Mitochondria can heal, given time, given fuel, given sleep. Each night, your body decides, do we keep these mitochondria? Do we rebuild them? Do we retire this cell? Sleep gives it time to answer. and space to act. Mitochondria are not fixed. They move, they merge, they split. At night, they perform a dance. Fusion. Mitochondria merge to share resources. Repair. Damage. Fission. They divide, removing bad parts, multiplying the good. This dance is vital for adapting to energy demand, eliminating mutations, preparing for cell division, and this choreography peaks during sleep. You do not feel it, but inside you, a ballet unfolds. Tiny suns, stretching, touching, rebirthing themselves in the dark. This is not metaphor. It is biology at its most elegant. If there were a pill that enhanced mitochondrial health, reduced oxidative damage, longevity, improved brain function, stabilized mood and metabolism, we'd call it a miracle. That pill exists. It's called deep sleep. Sleep triggers mitophagobiogenosis-mediated protection, energy redistribution, antioxidant upregulation. It is free. It is daily. And most of us waste it in favor of artificial light, late screens, caffeine, and chaos. You don't need more supplements. You need more night. Your cells do not glow, but they burn, not with flame, but with chemical fire, a whisper of ancient sunlight passed through breath into molecules, into you. Mitochondria are the living embers of an ancient world, and every night they must be tended. You are not separate from this. You are the keeper of the fire, the stoker of the inner stars. And each night you sleep well, you do more than rest, you shine again. The body lies still, but the mind never truly sleeps. It stirs, it unravels knots you didn't know were tied. It sifts the emotional sediment of your day. It wanders through memory's hallways, reorganizing, discarding, highlighting, healing. Every night, your mind undergoes surgery, not of flesh, but of self. This is the story of how sleep, and especially dreaming, repairs who you are, from the scars of sorrow, to the echoes of joy, to the fragile threads of identity. This is the nocturnal ritual of remembering, and sometimes the sacred forgetting. Sleep is not a shutdown. It is a shift in state. Just as your body restores tissue, the mind restores its architecture. There are two main stages of sleep that perform this miracle. NREM, non-rapid eye movement, deep, slow wave sleep, physical restoration, memory, sorting. REM, rapid eye movement, lighter, active, dreaming, sleep, emotional, healing, memory, integration, creative synthesis. They take turns throughout the night, each with its task, each shaping your internal narrative. Sleep is your nightly therapist, your editor, your curator of you remember things because of sleep. Not during the moment, but after. Here's how it works. During the day, experiences are briefly encoded in the hippocampus, the brain's scratchpad. During deep NREM sleep, these short-term memories are reactivated and sent to the neocortex for long-term storage, like moving files from your desk into a secure archive. But sleep doesn't just save memories, it also strengthens emotionally important ones, forgets the noise, links related concepts across time, reorganizes events into narrative. Without sleep, you might still live the day, but you don't learn from it, and you don't keep it. Sleep writes your autobiography, one night at a time. Why do we dream? We still don't fully know, but we have guesses, and they are beautiful. Dreams allow the mind to process, emotion resolve, inner conflicts to simulate, social situations explore, unresolved fears generate insight, and creativity. REM sleep is especially active in the amygdala, emotion, and visual cortex. But the prefrontal cortex logic is quiet. This is why dreams feel vivid but irrational, emotional but strange. They're not meant to make sense. They are meant to heal the soul, to let us rehearse grief, to explore love, to soften trauma's edges. When we say, "Let me sleep on it," we're inviting the dream mind to help us decide what's real, what matters, and what can finally be let go. The brain is an emotional tide pool. Every moment floods it with feelings, some sweet, some sharp. Sleep is the nightly ebb that clears the water, research shows. Sleep decouples the emotional charge from painful memories. It helps you recall the event, but without re-experiencing the distress. People are 60% more reactive to negative stimuli. In sleep, in particular, stabilizes mood and improves emotional resilience. When you cry yourself to sleep, you are not giving up. You are asking your brain to carry the weight and put it somewhere safe. You don't wake up healed, but you wake up lighter. Sleep is the mind's forgiveness ritual. Not all sleep heals in trauma. The brain may avoid REM sleep or become trapped in hypervigilance. This disrupts emotional processing. Pain remains raw. Memories loop without resolution. Nightmares are not failure. They're the mind's desperate attempt to integrate a wound it cannot name. In conditions like PTSD, REM fragmentation leads to emotional memory overload. The amygdala becomes overactive. The mind relives without resolution. Therapies that improve sleep, like EMDR, CBT, or simply deep rest, can help trauma find an ending, not erasure, but closure. Sleep doesn't delete the wound. It gives it context and allows you to keep living. Each dream you have is a simulation. You in conflict, you in wonder, you in the arms of someone long gone, you flying, falling, forgiving. Dreams let you rehearse different versions of self. This is not fantasy. It is neuroplasticity in action. REM sleep boosts creativity. Dreaming enhances problem-solving. Lucid dreaming may improve self-awareness. In dreams, you explore who you could be, who you miss, who you fear becoming. And in the morning, you return to this waking self, a little more flexible, a little more whole. Once believed impossible, we now know new neurons can be born in the adult brain, particularly in the hippocampus, the center of memory and spatial navigation. And sleep plays a major role. Deep sleep increases neurotrophic factors like BDNF, encourages neurogenesis, clears amyloid beta, a toxin linked to Alzheimer's. Buys new neural connections. This means that your sense of self, your identity, is plastic, regenerative, and rebuilt nightly. Your brain is not static. It is a garden, and sleep is the rain. When the world is quiet, a network lights up inside your head. It's called the default mode network, DMN, the place where self-reflection, daydreaming, and mind-wandering occur. It becomes especially active in light sleep and waking rest, and it's tied to sense of self-memory, of past imagination, of future moral reasoning. It's the part of you that wonders, who am I really? Sleep, especially just before and after REM, gives this network room to breathe. To reorganize your personal narrative, to stitch meaning into memory, and give structure to chaos. It doesn't tell you who you are. It lets you ask the question. When sleep is denied, everything breaks. Studies show memory collapses, emotional Regulation crumbles, depression risk increases anxiety, spikes even identity. Coherence, fade sleep-deprived brains struggle to maintain narrative. That means you forget who you were yesterday, you can't plan tomorrow, you question your worth. The self feels scattered. Unreal. It's not madness. It's exhaustion. A well-slept mind remembers its shape. A tired one forgets it. Sleep is the thread that holds your mental fabric together. Without it, the stitching unravels by the end of the night, after the dreams have wandered, after the tears have dried in REM, after the hippocampus has filed its memories. Your mind is new, not entirely, not drastically, but meaningfully, like a mosaic, retiled from yesterday's scattered pieces you carry forward. What matters, what was learned, what was loved, what you let go. Sleep is not just healing, it is integration. The moment they become one again, and that one is you. Sleep is not stillness. It is synchronization. 1,000 systems, 1,000,000 signals, 1,000,000,000,000 cells, all moving in perfect, wordless harmony. It does not shout, it does not ask for applause. It plays in silence, yet shapes every moment of your waking life. Tonight, we enter that silence, not to break it, but to listen, to hear how DNA, immunity, memory, mitochondria, emotions, and identity, all of them, align under one conductor, sleep. This is the final rehearsal, the nightly performance, a biological symphony that plays only when the lights go out. Asterisk, let's step into the music. All symphonies begin with a tempo in your body. That tempo is the circadian rhythm, a 24-hour internal clock woven into every cell. It is guided by light and dark, entrained by the suprachiasmatic nucleus in your brain, and executed by clock genes, per, cry, clock, BMAL1. These genes do not just keep time, they schedule healing. They tell DNA repair enzymes when to activate immune cells, when to patrol hormones, when to rise and fall, mitochondria, when to power up or cool down neurons, when to strengthen or let go. When night falls, the baton lifts, and the orchestra prepares. As you fall asleep, your body enters NREM, stage 1 and 2. The curtain call. Heart rate slows. Temperature drops. Consciousness begins to dissolve. Then, slow wave sleep, also known as deep sleep, the first movement of the healing symphony. Here, growth hormone surges, DNA repair begins in earnest. Immune cytokines awaken, neuronal waste is flushed, muscles rebuild, bones recover, microfractures, mitochondria begin repair. All of it is quiet, all of it together. This is not multitasking, it is orchestration. Each system knows its cue, because they share the same script. Sleep DNA is the score. It holds the instructions, the potential, the blueprint for the entire concert. But it needs editors. It needs repair. And that repair peaks in deep sleep. Each night, endonucleases scan for Brex polymerases, rewrite corrupted strands, PRP. Enzymes relegate. The enzymogenetic markers are refreshed. Asterisk, if DNA is damaged and left unfixed, the music falters. Cancer, aging, memory loss, inflammation. But in sleep, the script is reviewed, the errors softened, the masterpiece continues. Every symphony needs power, rhythm, fire. That's the mitochondria. During the day, they beat fast, pounding out ATP, fueling motion and thought. But at night, they recalibrate, fission, and fusion realign energy demands oxidative waste is neutralized. New mitochondria are created. Melatonin shields them from harm. Without this nightly tuning, the percussion turns chaotic. Your cells burn out, your energy dwindles. Aging accelerates, but sleep is the tuning fork. The drum recentered, the rhythm was restored. During the day, the immune system waits, it learns, it watches. At night, it acts. The immune section of the symphony includes natural killer cells, striking rogue invaders, macrophages, clearing the stagab cells, refining antibody blueprints, cells remembering past infections, inflammatory signals rising and falling like waves. This part of the orchestra is always improvising, adjusting to what the day brought, but it needs REM and deep sleep to calibrate its instruments. Sleep isn't just healing the body, it's preparing it for war, quietly, beautifully. If mitochondria power and immunity defends, then memory is the melody, and emotion is the key. It's written in. During sleep, the hippocampus replays memories in time with cortical rhythms. REM. Sleep smooths emotional charge from traumatic events. Dreams stitch new meaning into old memories. Neurogenesis quietly seeds new thought too. Don't just remember better when you sleep. You become someone different, a version of you that has made peace with yesterday and is ready for tomorrow. The mind doesn't just rest, it rewrites its song. Every chemical has its cue. At night, melatonin sings first, calling the body to stillness. Then, growth hormone rises, repairing muscle, skin, and bone. Cortisol lowers, cooling the inflammation of day. Leptin and ghrelin shift, tuning hunger and metabolism. Testosterone and estrogen recalibrate reproductive health. These aren't just fluctuations, they are transitions in key. Each hormonal rise or fall is a shift in mood, behavior, and healing. Sleep is the metronome. Without it, the instruments clash. At every moment of the night, your body listens. Signals pass from organ to organ. Neurotransmitters whisper to hormones. Immune cells read genetic messages. Mitochondria hum along, and all of it is timed, not by chance, but by sleep architecture. Each stage of the night, light, deep, REM, brings a different set of processes online. It's as if your body is playing a 90-minute suite, then looping it 4 to 6 times per night. Each loop is refining, correcting, sharpening the music, and when you're sleep deprived, the orchestra falters. Some instruments don't come on stage, others play too loud. It isn't just tiredness, it's disintegrating. Why don't you feel this symphony? Because it plays in silence. No lights, no applause, no conscious awareness. But if you listen closely, you feel its aftermath. The clarity of a well-rested mind, the ease of a healed lymph, calm after emotional storms, the energy that doesn't crash, the resilience that feels like peace. Healing isn't loud. It's a hush, a harmony, a whisper beneath everything else, and its name is sleep. As morning nears, your body prepares for wakefulness. Cortisol rises, heart rate gently increases, melatonin slips away. The symphony dims, but it does not end, because what sleep built persists. You carry it in your stronger immune cells, repaired, deonabolants, hormones restored, mitochondria clearer, mind softer, emotions. You are the final chord, not just the listener, but the result of the song. You are not the silence. You are the meaning that silence creates. When you wake, you are not the same, not just resting, not just refueled. you are rewritten. The body you rise with is not the body that fell asleep. The mind you carry is not the same mind that closed its eyes. You have been quietly and completely recreated. In this final chapter, we explore what morning really means, not as an end to sleep, but as the beginning of becoming. Let's open our eyes and step into the person's sleep built. Morning is often seen as a fresh start, but that's not entirely true. It is not a blank slate. It is a continuation. While you slept, DNA strands were repaired, mitochondria were renewed, immune cells rehearsed their lines, emotional wounds were softened, memories were reorganized, new neurons were born, hormones recalibrated. Story of you was edited when you open your eyes. You are reading the next page in a story that kept writing itself while you slept. You are not beginning again. You are beginning further along. Neuroscience confirms it. Sleep changes the brain's structure after a good night's rest. Synaptic connections are refined, problem-solving networks are more active, the prefrontal cortex. Rational thought regains control, the amygdala, emotion becomes more balanced, creativity surges, dreams you don't remember still leave footprints. Even in silence, your mind has traveled. It has resolved arguments, rehearsed futures, and rewritten pain. You don't remember how, you just feel different. You are not who you were at midnight, and that's the point. Have you ever noticed how some mornings feel different? Not just physically, but psychologically. Some mornings, you rise calm. Others, heavy with something left behind in a dream. This is not imagination. Sleep alters the inner landscape. It changes your interpretation of past events. Your interpretation of past events. Your emotional temperature, your sense of purpose, your clarity of thought. You do not simply rest. You evolve. Every night, one layer at a time. Your consciousness is a draft. Every day, you edit it through choices, experiences, words spoken and withheld. But every night, the subconscious steps in with its red pen. It highlights what mattered, deletes what didn't, moves entire paragraphs, and when the sun rises, a new version is saved. Your identity is not a statue, it's a story in motion. Sleep is the co-author you never see, but without whom the book would fall apart. The body awakens, yes, but so do your cells. After sleep, mitochondria generate ATP more efficiently, organs coordinate in tighter rhythms, metabolism becomes more responsive, muscles recover strength, oxygen usage improves, even your posture changes. You move more easily, your breath deepens. The engine has been tuned. This isn't a coincidence. This is restoration made visible. You are a biomechanical sunrise, and every movement is light reborn. The emotional self, too, is not immune to transformation. What felt sharp yesterday may feel dulled. What overwhelmed you now seems manageable. Why? Because during REM sleep, the brain replays emotional memories but disconnects them from cortisol, stress hormone. It allows reflection without reactivation. You're not suppressing pain, you're metabolizing it. Sleep is the emotional washing machine that turns trauma into memory and heartbreak into a softer echo. You don't just wake up lighter, you wake up cleaner. Have you ever solved a problem in your dream? Woken up with an answer that's real during the night. Dreams mix disparate memories, ideas collide. The default mode network becomes hyperactive. The brain simulates alternate realities. Logic takes a back seat, and possibility takes the wheel. When you wake, you often sense something new. An image, a phrase, a feeling. It's not random. It's the output of internal processing. Artists call it inspiration. Scientists call it rementigrated learning. You don't just wake up refreshed. You wake up reframed. Morning also means white. Blood cells are redistributed. Inflammation is reset. Fever, if present, often breaks. Antibodies created during the night are now active. You don't feel this, but it matters. The battles you didn't even know were fought are over, and the victories written into your blood. You're not just not sick, you're newly defended, and that makes all the difference. Hormonal recalibration during sleep means ghrelin. Hunger is lower leptin. Satiety is higher insulin sensitivity. Improves thyroid function. Reactivus. Cortisol rises just enough to wake you, not overwhelm you. If sleep was proper, your morning appetite feels balanced. Energy feels clean. Blood sugar is stable. Repair signals taper off. Fat storage mechanisms relax. This is the physiology of peace, not survival mode, not overdrive. Balance. The night was long. You don't remember most of it, but inside your chest, in your blood, your neurons, your bones, the world has changed. Not drastically, but deeply. You are slightly more resilient, slightly more wise, slightly more healed, slightly more you. On tomorrow night, it will happen again. You sleep, and in the dark, you are reborn. Not just the body, not just the brain, but being. Thank you for joining us on this long and quiet journey through the sleeping self, tonight and every night. As your head finds the pillow and your breath slows, know this: your body remembers how to heal. Your mind knows how to rest. And even when you're unaware, something ancient and beautiful inside you is working to keep you whole. If this story brought you peace, we invite you to gently subscribe to the Sleepy Scientist Stories. More tales await you in the night. More science, more softness, and always more wonder.